Whether you need to travel abroad or visit relatives this summer, it's not always possible to bring your pet with you. So is having your dog or your cat boarded a good option for your animal? We have professional dog trainer Geraldine Chata here, and you brought along Sadie.
I did.
To help us find some answers. First, I want to ask you about Sadie because, well, first of all, she's training right now.
She is.
To be a diabetic alert dog?
Yes, we call it a medical alert dog. So she's a diabetic detection animal, which I'm a big fan of medical alert dogs. In fact, some people's dogs become medical alert dogs by default and they don't realize it because they're around their smell every day. So a dog can actually tell the change in your biochemistry and alert you without even sometimes realizing what they're doing for you.
And real quick, and we'll get to the products you brought in the boarding, but you swab, she's going to be with a college student who has diabetes, and so you're training her by swabbing the college student's cheek when he has a diabetic reaction and training Sadie to know the smell?
Yes.
And then to go get juice out of the refrigerator for him.
Yes, absolutely.
That is awesome.
That way she can smell the change in his biochemistry, and obviously depending on the foods you eat and the way your body is made up, it gives off different smells. Like a diabetic will have a different smell than someone that's going to have a seizure, or someone with a cavity in their mouth, or an infection in their mouth. It all gives off a different smell, and her sense of smell is at least 200,000 times greater than ours. So she can pick up on that before we even get in the door sometimes.
Every dog is different and has a different personality and different anxieties. So if you've never boarded your dog before and you can't bring your dog with you, how do you decide if they have the right temperament to be boarded?
Well, first of all, if you've done a great job socializing and training your dog, then it's not really a question. They're usually pretty well off with going into a foreign territory, then hanging out with hopefully some new friends that they'll meet while they're there. But sometimes you have dogs that aren't great for boarding, or they need some training first. Those would be dogs that are not socialized well. Dogs that might be aggressive around other animals or around other people, or they might just have a territorial issue, or they are toy guarding or food aggressive.
How do you figure that out? Do you do a test run or like a daycare, a doggy daycare first?
You will know at home or when you start socializing with them with other animals that you see some behavior that's questionable. But most importantly, take them to the boarding facility and have a tour with them. To have a tour on your own first to make sure you like the facility. Go then and then take your puppy along, or your dog along, or your cat along for your first initial visit, or your second visit.
What's your philosophy on boarding cats?
Just like dogs, if they don't have any issues and they're socialized well, no issue whatsoever. I don't think there's a problem with boarding cats.
Do you think people should board cats, or because cats, you hear often of people that leave their cats alone for
days,
a week,
like sometimes 10 or sometimes 10 or 11 days, and cats can be left alone a little longer than probably a hamster or other animals, but I still don't recommend it. And I really recommend boarding or a pet sitter. Pet sitters are wonderful. You can find some incredible pet sitters these days, and it's a win-win because you get your house watched while your animal gets the same scenario that they have on a regular basis. So that's wonderful.
What is Sadie chewing on right now that she likes so much?
She's chewing on a no-hide. I'm a big fan of something that dogs can chew on that won't harm them. And no-hides are like a rawhide. They're a rawhide imposter.
Are you not a fan of rawhide?
Not really. I've tried to steer clear from them, but I'm not going to say that they should not ever be used. I just have seen a lot of what can happen when your dogs are not monitored properly, when they're chewing on things. No hides mimic rawhide, but they're a baked item made from a emulsification of like a chicken fat and an olive oil and some other ingredients, and then they're baked and rolled up and painted with this yummy goodness that keeps the dog's attention, gives them something to get their anxiety out with. Also, it helps their teeth with teething.
Does that go along with using the boarding as a training option?
Well, training. So the boarding as a training option becomes sometimes you can't change your dog's mind. No matter what you do at home, your dog is still stressed out or still has something going on, and sometimes it takes taking the dog out of the scenario, kind of changing the energy of the house, getting on a new program, and then bringing the dog back in. So boarding can actually be like an overnight, or I consider it like a sleepover, or they can sleep over with friends. It doesn't have to be boarding, but boarding really helps because then the dog has to wait in line, isn't first in line, kind of changes his attitude.
They're not the alpha dog.
Right, they're not the alpha dog.
Boarded.
Right, so it gives them a different frame of mind to come back and approach home in a different, with a new outlook on how things are going to happen in the home from then on.
One of the things that you and I were talking about that surprised me is you said that for an animal, though, being boarded can often be just as stressful as fireworks or a thunderstorm.
Definitely. Oh yes, well, because they hear noises and there are smells that you're not aware of
Yeah.
that they're experiencing, and you've had that experience obviously
We
with
took
your
Buster,
boy.
Yeah, we took Buster for a test run, and he broke out in hives.
It could have been as simple as the smell. It could have been as simple as the smell of the other dogs.
Yeah.
Just he could smell their biochemistry if they were really nervous. So,
So
he
what
went,
do you do? Do you
"Whoa."
give him a comfort item like a teddy bear or blankets that smell like you?
Yes, that's a definite must. That's something that's just a given. Take something a pillowcase, a bath towel, a bathrobe, something that smells like you, a t-shirt just that hasn't been washed. Take that along because that smell gives them a lot of comfort. There are also other things that you can use as well. There are even bags you can put those things in that smell like your home. But there are other things like chews, and there are sprays, and the list is endless of comforting things that are out there, of products that will help comfort your animals.
So you're not just sending them
you're-
alone
right.
to be boarded.
Right.
Professional dog trainer Geraldine Chata, thank you. And thank you to Sadie. What a wonderful animal.